Podcast, Episode 2.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, it's Evil Squid Comics Podcast 2.0, Episode 2. Double deuce.
Volume 2.
Deuce.
Yes. Volume 2. We renumbered. So, you can just jump right in.
Hey.
Right? You don't have to have all the backstory
Just
or
jump right in. There's
try and figure out what came before.
Maybe
So.
that's me and you.
It could be. Alright, I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
We have Scott here tonight.
Special guest.
Hopefully he'll be a regular. What the heck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Do you have a drink?
No.
Alright, well maybe you should get one.
Maybe I
As
should.
opposed to clearing your throat in an obnoxiously loud
Oh.
way.
They're used to me being obnoxious.
Oh.
Well, they used to
Well,
be.
I was going to say, not
They used to be,
2.0.
used to be.
Alright, so anyway, we have this great display box. As we talk about a book, we will put it in the display box and you'll be able to see the book that we're talking about. How exciting is that? Ooh, so it's not quite video, but it's not just a black screen like it was last week. Are we going to talk about Roughneck first?
I don't know. It's not showing up on my screen. I was just trying it.
That's because that's behind.
Oh, there it goes.
And that's got the adjustment.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's okay.
awesome.
Cool.
I don't care.
Alright,
I was just testing
Roughneck.
it out.
We'll talk about Roughneck.
We all
Do we want
wrote
to talk
it.
about anything else first, though?
Any news?
Any news or anything we need to get off our chest? Don, anything you want to share with the group? Okay, got it.
Roger Moore died.
Oh, that's right.
It's true.
Who's
89 years
sad?
old.
89.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do the math. So he was like popular like in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jump on.
So he was already
like,
50 or
He was
60.
already like 50 or 60 when he was doing.
He was pretty old. He was 40s.
He looked good for his
He
age.
did.
Well, it's funny because how old is Sean Connery?
I don't know.
Now? I don't know.
I mean, I think he's probably close to that age, but yet he played James Bond like 10, 15 years before Roger Moore. So he was really young when he played.
Was he
Somewhat.
really
But
old?
he actually, though, if you look at the chronological order, I guess, of some of that, he came back and played Bond while
One more
Roger
time.
Moore,
Yeah.
was in there. Never
But
said
that
ever
wasn't
again.
an
Is that
official
that was an official Bond
James
movie,
Bond
right?
movie.
It was a Bond movie. He was playing Bond.
It's
but
not.
It's not
official.
canon.
It's not canon.
Is that how it is?
It's not by the people that I don't know.
That could be.
remember.
That could be. That is the
It was a
rest.
remake of something else.
And it was a remake.
Of what?
Yes.
Thunderball?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know my.
I'm not up on my Bond.
Alright, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I
Well,
just know one little.
we
tidbit.
salute you, Roger Moore. Thanks for the fond memories. He's the first James Bond that I remember watching.
Oh,
as a
me
kid.
too. Me too.
For Your Eyes Only, I think was the first James Bond movie, and I kept falling asleep and losing interest because it was boring as heck when I was like 7 years old. Didn't
I
really
think that was the
appreciate
first
James
Bond movie I saw, and I saw it in the theater when I was like 12.
20.
Really? Sure. I don't think so. I
For
think
you guys
theater-
only?
Yeah. You saw it in the theater?
Yeah.
Well, how did I not see it?
Because I went with a friend of mine
Oh. You
to
had
go
friends?
see a different movie.
And
And then we
snuck
got
into
That's
there.
in there?
Well, I don't think we had to see
Oh, yeah, it was
it.
PG back then.
But he wanted to see that. And
Yeah.
so-
What movie were you going to see?
I don't remember. It was probably one of those like matinee things.
Like Bambi or something?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Back then it was probably like 50 cents or something.
Yeah,
for, like, a
sure.
matinee.
Back in the day, probably
Back in the
nickel
day.
back in your day.
And I'm like,
They probably wasn't even
Yes.
ratings.
you could get a soda pop, a candy bar, popcorn, and a movie for like a dime.
Exactly. You're not that old. You sound like my mother.
At the old soda fountain.
Wow.
Just went into the old fountain.
Just listeners, just be aware. Don is not that old.
They didn't even have like
Matinees were like $3 back then.
they didn't even have like pre-made like
All right.
soda.
That's just
it was
like-
like soda water and like syrup.
It was
And
syrup,
then they
yeah.
mixed it.
And some
All right,
carbonated
so
water.
Roughneck.
And for a nickel, you could get a scoop of ice cream.
Roughneck is the new book by Jeff Lemire.
Is it
He
fairly
both,
new?
He both wrote and
Yeah.
yeah, it just came
It
out
just came out.
last month.
No kidding. Wow.
Yes, sir. And I really liked it. We'll just say, did you like it, Tom?
Yeah.
I liked it because it was a nice quick read.
It was
Yeah,
very
it was
quick.
Yeah.
He uses space a lot. He doesn't necessarily. He uses a lot of
I did like
silence.
the way he used like color.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? How like
You need your
The-
box to like be able to put sideways.
yeah, I know it's not quite that advanced.
No kidding.
But yeah, so like anything in the present tense was like white and blue, kind of two tone, kind of cold and depressing, and then anything in the past was in color.
Yes.
And I took
Yes.
that whole thing to be a metaphor to these characters' lives, how their past especially the main character, the hockey player, his past was very, his past was much better and much more colorful. And
Fairly bright.
that was the good part of his life, and now he's like in the second part of his life where everything's kind of turned to crap, and that's why it's not in color, because the past was kind of like the bright spot. You kind of like, what do you call that when someone is a has-been, or the best years of their lives were like in their 20s, type of thing.
The summer of '69.
Yes,
Like
exactly. So
But-
I felt that was a metaphor for that.
But when her boyfriend or
When
whatever comes, his jacket's in color,
Yeah,
and that's in the present.
correct.
So I took it to mean that the color was like all the bad crap that happened. Like if it was bad,
But wasn't playing hockey the good part of his life?
well, he
I
got
did find that
kicked out or
interesting that the
whatever.
guy's jacket was in color, but
I started
I
catching
don't think
on
it
in
completely destroys my theory.
And it
But he's kind of represents the past too, so maybe that's it. Because that old, because
anything bad that happened was in color.
No, they like the blood, that's for sure. It was
Yeah.
really
That's
red.
true. The blood was in color.
Yep.
And the hockey thing is when he ended his career because he
But
smashed
he also
that
had
dude.
a career.
But he smashed
True.
that dude. It was like the game where he got
Yeah.
suspended for
Wow.
life.
Anyway, the past is in color.
Anyway.
The present is in. Oh, we should probably give like a quick summary. So the story is. You do the summary, Scott. You're good at summaries.
Sure. Not really. Summary wise, old, washed up hockey player. Actually, he's not so much washed up, probably. He just had an incident that happened in his pro hockey days that caused him to no longer play hockey, and so he's back to the old town that he had, and while he's there he's still getting into fights and whatnot else, but then his sister shows up, and basically he's trying to help his sister through a hard time while he's not exactly the most stable of people either. So
Yeah. So. Never mind. That's annoying me. The good thing we're not on video. You could get violent, like in color in the book.
yeah,
All right. So yeah, that's a good summary. And
for the
so,
most part. I mean, and she has her own little skeletons in the closet, and one of them is that she has an abusive boyfriend who's kind of on their trail. So
yeah. No, very good. So it's kind of a story of redemption about coming to terms with the past, but then moving forward. And I don't know.
Are we gonna spoil the ending?
I don't think so.
Because it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
All right, should we spoil the ending? The ending.
Well,
didn't
it did
sense?
make sense, but it didn't make sense.
There was a couple panels in there that confused me a little
Yes.
bit, but I think I read it a second time.
Like when they were under the bridge, and a cop just showed up out of nowhere.
I'm gonna have to refresh my memory.
Okay. Well, I have to
Well,
flip
Scott's
pages.
got it. Well, you have to flip them. See how Scott flips without making a lot of noise?
Scott's really good.
well, the cop shows up, but
But he's beating the guy.
He goes
He's
under the
going-
bridge, and he's like beating that dude up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the cop shows up out of nowhere.
you being in the middle though, isn't that in the middle where he goes beats up to those junkie or the drug dealers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like beating them up in one panel, like this really cool panel.
It was
like,
kind of like a jump though. There.
And
I noticed
then
that
all
too.
of a sudden,
The cop's there. Boom.
Yeah, the cop's there.
Yeah, but just probably because of the fact
Cops
that the
always
cop was
show up.
quick, yeah, and kind of knew where he was going anyway. But
Okay.
that's not the end.
Well,
So-
no, but that he mentioned that it kind of jumped around.
It does have some of those little
So-
jumps
Oh, shocker! It's a Jeff Lemire book, so it's kind of a downer.
I didn't think that end was that much of a downer. Did you?
Did he die?
No,
there.
I didn't think of that.
I think he did.
You think he died?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because he's out playing with the flipping dog at the end.
Yeah, him and the dog walked off to the sunset.
Yeah, 'cause he's
and
dead.
the dog is dead.
How's the dog dead?
Because the dog's been following
Been
around the whole story.
Yes, the whole story. The dog
Yeah, the
is
dog's
there,
been around.
and nobody else sees it.
Nobody else sees the dog?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because the dog runs off to the woods whenever.
That makes
yeah.
complete sense that he dies because he gave up his life
To save
to
her.
save her.
Because then,
Because then that guy goes to jail.
That's right.
But the
For
dude
manslaughter.
basically beat him to death with
Yeah,
his
that's
fist.
right.
Like he just hit him and then he died.
That's why I wasn't sure if he died or not. I
Well,
thought it was
he
like-
hit his head. Is what happens.
Right, he hit his head, yes,
Yes.
and
So
everything
he's-
goes black.
and
He
you
gives
see
everything
his
away.
memories and everything just kind of.
I thought he
Going
just
out
lost
there.
consciousness.
No, he's like giving up.
It is a downer.
He's
yeah.
giving up all of his anger and all of his
That was the way I saw it.
frustration.
Yeah, and so
He's
then he
giving
walked
it
off in
all
the
up.
woods to
No,
live in the
he
woods with the
died.
dog.
Yeah,
Because he
I'm
got
pretty
past
sure
his
that
anger.
that's right. That's the way I felt was that he died because of the fact that dog only showed up
Who's
to
that
him.
right there?
That's the dude,
Uh,
your hockey player guy. and he's walking around with a smile on his face, which you've never seen throughout the rest of it. And he sees the dog. Dog comes up to him, which doesn't happen anywhere else. You know, the dog's always
That's
running
because
off.
he's calm and at peace now.
So, well, yeah, because he's dead.
He's dead?
And so he's walking off into the forest, you know, to go with the dog now. So,
well, at least heaven's in color.
as well as it's all in color to boot.
It seemed like it was really
walking off towards the color.
like he didn't really have to die. Well, I guess maybe he did have to die to put the guy away forever.
I think so too. And so that she could start her life new.
Wow, I'm glad we had this podcast. I understand the book better.
Now you understand the book.
I
And
thought
we
maybe
just spoiled the crap
I-
out of it.
I did wonder about that because I was reading. I was like, did he die? And I'm like, it's not real clear. I didn't think.
It wasn't either.
I don't know. I wasn't totally sure, but that was the way I interpreted it.
Now that
anyway.
we've talked it out, though, I guess it
So-
makes sense.
I guess we'll just have to ask Mr. Lemire.
Yeah, that would be good if I ever see him.
Yeah.
Sure, he'll be around.
Okay.
Does he show up to cons and things?
Yeah, he does a few, mostly the bigger ones.
Imagine that.
That one he didn't even do though.
What's that?
C2E2.
He was there, wasn't
No, I didn't see him.
he? You didn't see him? Oh.
I didn't see him Friday or Saturday.
Well, you didn't stay Sunday, so joke's
I know
on you.
maybe he showed up Sunday.
Correct. Alright, what's the next thing we're talking about? I didn't read a whole lot.
I didn't either.
Well, I read a lot, but I didn't read stuff I want to talk about.
Ooh, talk about Sega.
You
I
talking about
didn't-
Saga
I
already?
didn't
Saga.
read a whole lot.
Alright, take that one out.
Of course, that's
I
number
didn't-
2, huh? I don't even think I've
Volume
read Volume 1. Oh,
What did
that
you-
is cool. Of course,
what did-
maybe don't give me too many spoilers, because I'd like to read this one, I think.
There's so much going on in Saga, it's pretty hard to spoil.
Man, I don't even... That is probably true.
What
Look at that.
what did you read that you don't want to talk about?
Oh, I've been rereading Chew to get to Volume 6, so I'm like up to Volume 4. So I
Do
spent
you
lots.
have them all?
Yeah, I have all of them.
Oh,
So
so
I've
I
been-
read that one too.
I did loan number 1 just
That's okay. I've read all those. So.
Yeah,
And I
but yeah, I had
vaguely
6.
remember it. So
So,
Gotcha.
should we zoom out a little bit? Let's
I was gonna read number 6 to reread just the last issue.
is that better?
I think it's better.
I don't know, there's a
It'll
lag.
update in a second. There's a lag. See? Beautiful.
There we go. She's picking her
Look at
nose.
that. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Alright,
he's
so
a little
Saga, for people who don't know, is a very complex story, so it's hard to summarize. But it's basically about a science fiction fantasy, more science fiction,
Mm-hmm.
about these two different races that have been warring for like generations.
It's the
And
Romeo and Juliet.
and two people from each of the races fall in love and have a baby, and it's a big secret because if the rest of the universe found out, it would like ruin this war that's been going on. And there's lots of people who obviously have a stake in the war as far as profit and that kind of thing, and because warmongers and all that jazz. So it's basically a story about them. The first book is when it's the baby and they're kind of on the run. Second book jumps ahead a little bit, and then the kid's like a toddler, maybe 4 or 5, maybe.
Sure.
She talks pretty well for 4 or 5.
I don't know what issues.
But
you're doing.
they're still on the run, but they're more in hiding on this one. But then people find them, and there's lots of crazy things. There's like a robot empire, and there's these robot people, and they have like
TV
their
heads.
faces are TVs, yeah. And so they display different images and print
Isn't it
robots.
kind of being told though from
the girl,
child?
the child, yeah. She's like
well,
telling the
she's an adult,
story.
not assume now, but
She's telling the story as like her past. or
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
you
right.
know. And so she kind of gives commentary throughout, but it's really well. It's really well done. A really good book. This was like 3 arcs, so each of these hardcovers is like 18 issues, like 3 6-issue arcs or whatever.
wow.
So it was like a meaty read. Like you're reading, you're like, dude, I just read a lot of Saga in like a
Yeah.
short amount of time.
Hmm.
It's a lot to take
So
in.
you're up to like 35 or 36.
But
What are they up
yeah,
to now?
36. I think they're in the 40s.
They're in the 40s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good. The thing that always shocks me about Saga is how graphic it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like takes the whole like sex and violence to like another level. Like
You get a lot of dink shots.
a lot of dink shots, a lot of
I remember
sex
that from
shots.
A lot of hanging balls.
I mean, if you have any kind of like hang-ups about any of that stuff, it's probably not the book for you because it
It's
lays it
throughout.
all out there.
Was this one like I remember when he goes to meet like the king of robot or whatever, and he's got like the huge widescreen.
Oh yeah, the
head.
king has a big like widescreen TV head.
Yeah, it's
Instead of
like a
regular-
2-panel
Yeah,
spread.
like a
it's
white-
like just
yeah.
a giant
That was
HD, like
funny.
65-inch
Yeah.
HD TV thing.
Yeah, that's
That was
hilarious.
really cool.
Yeah. So
But yeah, it's a really good book. I mean, it's like I I don't know. We talked about Saga before. I think it was always like on our top list when we did one at the end of the year.
Yeah, Saga is just
it's just really good.
It's got great. Brian K. Vaughan writes it, and Fiona Staples draws it. And Brian K. Vaughan is kind of the king of like the cliffhanger. Like each issue ends, and you're like, "What's going to happen next?" Of course, I read it in like a 18-issue run, so it's kind of lost on me a little bit.
But it keeps you going though.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the next one, so it's hard to put down.
Correct. It's well done, and he does a really good job of writing it. And characters are really well developed. It's interesting reading it as a person with children and being married, because it really, you can tell this is like Brian K. Vaughan's book to like vent all his own frustrations with parenthood and marriage and all those kind of things, you know. And it kind of falls in this cliche a little bit, I thought, in this one a little bit, with like the domestic issues, you know, like one parent's off working and one parent's staying at home, and the issues that rise out of that. And she's really, you know, playing on that. And some of it's cliche, but then he always twists it, and it's got such an interesting backdrop of this weird science fiction thing going on that it keeps it really interesting to me.
Is that the one where she is the actress?
Yeah, she's an actress.
And then she gets into trouble.
Well, they're always in trouble.
Well, she gets hooked on like some kind of
drug. Yeah, she gets hooked on drugs.
Like drugs.
Yeah,
she's all strung out.
All strung out. Yes.
Okay.
So anyway,
I know kind of the vein you're in then.
Yeah, it's good.
Group.
It's definitely a solid read. It's one of those books that sells really well and is very popular with a lot of people who don't read a lot of other comic books. So if you're ever like, dude, I should get into comic books, or what comic book should I read? Saga's a great book just to dive into.
As long as you don't mind the sex and violence.
Yeah, exactly. It's an adult book. It's Game of Thrones probably level.
There's not a lot of it, I don't think.
A lot of it, there's
just
a lot.
Just when it is, it's pretty rad.
And a lot of it's really absurd too. Like there's a whole scene, like for example, there's a scene where they're trying to capture this dragon's semen, right?
Okay.
And so they come upon the dragon, they find him. He's laying on the ground, giving himself oral pleasure, you know, playing with his
look at himself,
big,
like
long, elongated penis or whatever. You know, like, oh, this should be easy. We'll just wait till he finishes and go collect it, and he'll probably pass out after, you know, or something like that. So they wait, they go collect it. Of course, the dragon wakes up, you know, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, there's this big shot of this dragon with the, you know, huge erect penis that he's sucking on, basically. So things like that. Like, I mean, it's not like bad. It's just really absurd kind of sex type stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
I guess I'd block that from my mind.
I can imagine.
for bringing it back up.
Bringing it back up.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that back up.
Correct.
Giant.
Oh, we should have like a like parental advisory on this podcast.
We should, because you said penis.
No, because of what I described.
Oral.
But yes, those are the words that are bad. Yes, correct. Yes. I don't think it's the words themselves, which is the content on it. Content.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, there you go. What are we talking about next?
I don't know.
You haven't talked about anything other than Rough.
Me?
Yeah, I think it's your turn.
I haven't. I don't want to talk about that right now. Ooh, I did read. Oh, this is what I want to talk about.
Okay. I did not buy that.
You're not buying Shaolin Cowboy?
No, I
Who
kind
will
of felt.
stop the rain?
I kind of felt jilted from the last like 4 issue of Shaolin Cowboy killing zombies. I mean, I admit the artwork was awesome, and 4 issues of just him killing zombies.
I might actually
really
need
good
that
art.
back to like flip through it.
But it's I felt a little gypped that I didn't. I guess if you just want to buy an art book, it's cool. But even then, it's just double page spread after double page.
I had
of zombies being killed.
I
mean, Jeff Darrow is one of the greatest artists in the biz. So
oh, dude, there's
you can't complain about that.
Towards the end, I'll have to pull that out and show
at
you.
some
There's
point,
like a double page spread that is just. I like stared at it for like 5 minutes, just looking at everything, because it's like what's the oversized hard boiled?
Oh yeah, hard boiled.
Yeah, it's like hard boiled page, dude.
Oh,
like stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
But I actually double dipped on this.
Double dipped. How do you double dip on a single issue?
Well, I went to C2E2, and Jeff Darrow was there.
Yeah.
And so when I was talking to him, and I had him sign a few things, and so I was chatting, and I'm like, because I buy my stuff online, so I get it later.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for your new book to come out. He's like, oh, here you go. He like pulls it out and throws it down on the counter. He's like, it's right here. So I'm like, it's whatever, $4, and I'll get Darrow to sign it.
Sure,
like, whatever. I got one coming, but
sometimes you gotta throw a bone.
Sometimes you gotta throw, but I didn't really feel so bad for him because like I didn't see anybody around him like the whole convention or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I gave him, I don't know, like a 10 or a 20, and it's like $4.
Yeah.
Dude was just pulling out mad stacks of cash, just
yeah.
and it's like ones and five, and he was just like a handful of cash, right?
Yeah.
Just all crumpled and like messed up, and took him like 5 minutes to give me change,
Wow.
whatever. But it was really cool to see Jeff Darrow.
Well,
with
people
a lot
who
of
don't
cash.
know, who aren't like, comic book aficionados, Jeff Darrow did a lot of the design work on the original Matrix.
The Matrix, yes.
So he's got Matrix money.
Yes.
So he's probably doing alright.
Okay, so anyway, this book picks up right at where the last one leaves off.
Where he's
like
fighting zombies?
He's like laying in the desert around a bunch of zombies.
Okay.
And it starts out, it's really funny, there's like 3 buzzards. And they're like circling, and they're talking to each other. And they're like, ooh, that looks like some good stuff down there. They're like, oh, so let's go get some of that. And they're like talking to each other, and they go down, and then they see, because it's all like dead zombie corpses.
Yeah.
And then the Shaolin cowboy.
Do zombies taste good to birds?
I don't know.
Okay.
So they go for the Shaolin cowboy first, right?
Of course. He's
And,
Fresh.
and they're talking about the birds are talking about something about save the eyeball for me or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Shaolin cowboy pops up and he like throws like it pops out like 2 of the bird's eyeballs and it goes into the other bird.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's pretty cool, but it's really good. He just goes on like some weird, like he pops up and he's going on like some weird journey, and then it goes into like some weird there's like some old master or whatever. Like I haven't read the old Shaolin cowboy stuff. I think it goes back to that, to like the guy that trained him maybe.
Yeah.
Like an old Fu Manchu
Uh-huh.
guy with like the beard or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't remember what the hell it was about. I do remember the birds, and I remember it picks up right after it. It's called Who'll Stop the Rain.
Huh.
I think this one.
Well, I have the trade of the
Give me-
original Shaolin
Give me that
cowboy.
book, please. Scott.
And
I just
then-
want to show you that spread.
Okay.
Excuse me, clear my throat again.
Yes.
But the art is awesome. So there's your birds, which they can talk.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He grabbed him in the neck and popped both his eyeballs out,
Nice.
and then killed the other 2 birds
With the eyeballs
With the eyeballs.
that were popping
I knew
out.
there was something.
Of course. He is the Shaolin cowboy.
Is that Gary Cooper?
I don't know. Is it?
See, there's the old
I see the old
that guy,
Fu Manchu
and there's
yeah.
like the
Mhm.
Gary Cooper, because he's a Shaolin cowboy.
Yes.
So he's like having visions or whatever.
I got you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about like the Nazis. There's like they're not Nazis.
There's your
but
hard-boiled
There's
man.
your hard boiled
Sure.
man. That thing is freaking insane.
Insane.
Insane in the membrane. But
The heck of a crash.
yeah. There's like some it goes all the way, dude. It takes the last page.
There you go.
But it goes into like some neo-Nazi people. So he's gonna hook up with like a neo-Nazi.
Well, at least there's some dialogue and a little bit of a story, though.
Oh yeah.
But I bought the original Shaolin Cowboy trade thinking it was going to be the greatest thing ever, and then I could barely get through it because there were so many words.
Oh yeah.
It looked like there were a lot of words in that one, too. And the words don't really say anything.
He kind of went into
So it's
like
kind of like, with my experience with Shaolin Cowboys, is like too many words
or not enough.
or not enough words.
Actually,
And so
I really like that last.
It's that economy of words that I think Jeff Darrow needs to work on.
I really like that last series.
The Kazami one?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed looking through it, but it's like an art book.
Yes, it was 4 issues of him killing zombies.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Great
fun.
art, but
I think he's gone into like kind of like the God hates astronauts realm, because like there's this Nazi lady and she has a crab on her head.
Yeah.
But the crab is the one. It's almost like Who Runs Bartertown. Like the crab is like running her, because she goes to take a drink out of the beer, and the crab drinks the beer like on top of her.
Yeah.
Her head. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, dude.
Yeah. Maybe you should get Ryan Brown to write that.
Ooh, I'm excited for his new book. That one that he's writing? Or not Ryan Brown.
Heroin? Heroines?
Yeah. The Superpower
Oh, by Ryan Brown.
is Ryan Brown.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking.
God
different
hates
book, sorry.
astronauts.
Yeah, he's writing some book with Pete Woods, right? Or
Yeah.
Pete Woods is drawing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in the Dynamite Superpower vein or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
sorry. Do we want that back in there?
No, I think we're just talking about it. So we
Okay.
probably put the next book in.
I really liked it though. It was good.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad you got your money's worth.
You definitely did on that one. Just get a lot of words.
A lot of words.
I'm not sure that the number of words is necessarily.
Well, you just said that you
but I
didn't
do
buy
want
it.
some kind of narrative. Whether I prefer the narrative being driven forward with the fewest amount of words that it takes.
It was his statement on Walking Dead, I believe,
Well, I don't take it that way.
and the zombie craze.
I took it as just
It was
Shaolin Cowboy killing zombies for 4
It was him killing zombies for 4
He wanted to
issues,
show some
trying to kill off the zombie craze.
So he did that so he could explain that he doesn't really care for The Walking Dead?
Yes.
Well, he
That
could
was-
just
that was his-
say that in like an interview and save me $16.
Alright, I'm done trying to defend Jeff Darrow to you.
I love Jeff Darrow.
Okay.
I just don't think Shaolin Cowboy is my favorite book anymore.
Okay. Who's next? Like who's doing what?
I don't know who is next.
I don't know. Nice. It's awesome.
Do you want to talk about Doom Patrol? Okay. So
you
I
can
talked
talk about
about
Doom Patrol.
last week how
Oh, okay.
you said you dropped Doom Patrol.
Is that a candy bar or a taco?
I believe it's a
burrito?
burrito.
Okay. Did you scratch and sniff it
Oh,
though?
it might be Hero actually, because that does fix
You
it.
can scratch.
You can peel it. It's not scratch and sniff.
Oh,
It's
did you peel?
slowly? Yes, you can peel it. I peeled it.
Did you?
Yes.
What's it smell like?
It's not a smell and scratch and sniff. It's a peeler. You
Oh.
peel. It's a sticker. It comes off.
What?
Underneath the sticker is like a galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't peel
Here.
mine.
Here, I'll peel it so our listeners.
That's not your old '80s chromium gimmick cover. That's a new one.
Hmm?
Ah.
Oh.
Can you kind of hold that and show the listeners for a second? You have to hold it back.
It's a visual. So, what is Gerard Way saying, that the universe is made of burritos? Or heroes?
To be.
Heroes?
So see, that's what's under Hero. In case you don't want to
Destroy your book?
destroy your book like I did, because I don't really care.
I don't either.
But anyway, you talked last week about it being you dropping it, and I was like, yeah, I've been reading it, I've been liking it, but I don't know that I totally got it. So I was gonna sit down and read all 6 issues, which is basically the first arc. Yeah, I know. Which is basically the first arc.
You may throw up any other ones?
No, we're good. Which is basically the first arc, and I read it all at once, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
I think
It's
I missed a lot reading it in single issues. Why is that funny? And
It
why
is
is it so
funny.
distracting?
well, it's distracting because he wants to know what I'm laughing about. So
Why
trying to
is
put
that
him in on
funny?
the joke. That you used the old bag
To
put
put
it
my
in?
back. Yeah, why is that
I don't
funny?
know, it's just
Should I
funny.
like put that in there?
No, it's not that funny.
And start
I
to
just
zoom
reused
in
the
in some
bag.
weird way? Or?
I don't know.
I didn't think it was all that funny, but it's kind of cool.
I guess.
I'm
it's
glad that you're,
hilarious. I'm
you're
sorry.
very frugal in reusing your bags and helping
Sorry.
the environment.
Okay, so explain to me what's going on in Doom Patrol.
Oh, look,
since you're
it's
like
like
the
Ghost
expert
Rider.
now.
Or something.
Oh, you
What's
did
that
it
one?
again.
Yes,
Oh,
I did
wow.
it again.
I did like the covers though. The covers are pretty cool.
Yeah, the art. It's written by Gerard Way, who is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. Did you know that?
Oh, really? I did not
Yes.
know that.
And it's drawn by Nick Darrington, who I'm a big fan of. Since he started doing this book, I didn't really follow his work before that.
So what's the overall idea of this?
Alright, so
Synopsis?
Doom Patrol is basically a team of superheroes. But it starts with a character named Casey Brink. She drives an ambulance. Now, I think a lot of these characters have been in the book before. Casey Brink, I think, is a new creation. And basically, she drives an ambulance. Well, it turns out the ambulance is actually Danny the Street. And I
Oh,
believe
okay.
he's an old character from the Grant Morrison
He
run.
is.
Okay, so the ambulance is Danny the Street. What Danny the Street is, he used to be a brick, then he became a street. And he's become a street and a portal to a whole other town called Dannyland. And so people can come into Dannyland and live in there and have their own happy little universe away from the regular universe, which has rejected them. So anyway, these intergalactic people, like villains, find out that, hey, this guy has all these people in it. We're going to capture him, and since he can create these people at will and just populate it, we're going to keep taking the people he creates and turn them into ground beef to sell as hamburgers, because it's
Nice.
a cheap way to get meat. So that's the basic overall story. And so while this is going on, Casey the Brink, who drives the ambulance, which is Danny the Street, has to put kind of the band back together. So we put Doom Patrol back together. You got Danny the Street, you got Cliff the robot. Isn't that his name, Cliff?
I believe so.
Yeah, so he's like Robot Man. And then a negative man is another guy. He's a guy, and he's got like a negative being who lives inside him. When the negative being jumps out and fights villains, his body goes limp, and he's like, not dead, but
right. And in the old Doom Patrol from the '60s, he could only be gone for a certain amount of time, he would die,
or he would die.
He could only be gone
So this book has a cool twist.
Seconds.
Has a cool twist. So he actually wants to stop being that guy, but then they go and talk to the whole universe of these negative beings, and he agrees to do it. And they say, well, since you agree to do it, we'll say every time he leaves your body, you get to experience a whole life that you get to live, like from birth to death or whatever, as like a offering of having to tie yourself to this negative being. So anyway, it's a really weird book. All the characters are weird. It's got a cool story. The art is Nick Darrington. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Frank Quitely and a little bit of Moebius, a little bit. So I mean, I think the art's really cool. He's got a big Kirby fetish too. So I mean, it's cool. I really enjoyed it. The story, if you read it all together, it does make sense if you pay attention. It's really not that. I read it in single issues. I was totally confused. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
I believe that.
But as I read them all in over in one sitting or over a couple hours, it all came together pretty well. It made sense.
Was this like a 6-issue arc? Or?
Yeah, it's a 6-issue arc. And so the end of the arc, the team's kind of back together. And another character that came back is Jane. And she has kind of a major role towards the end to play. And I guess she was in the Grant Morrison run as well.
Okay, I haven't read
Crazy Jane, I think.
I haven't read all the Grant Morrison
I've
run.
never read that much of it.
But I started it, and I remember Danny the Street.
Yeah. So
when was Grant Morrison's run?
It was in the late 80s, early 90s, probably most of the early 90s. It was kind of like Grant Morrison's, where he kind of got his name, and then he went on to other things. So... But yeah, it's very cool. It's very meta. It's like it plays on the Grant Morrison characters, but then it kind of the whole Danny the Street thing. Like Casey Brink is from Danny the Street, but she doesn't know it, and then she goes back inside Danny the Street's world, and it turns out that Danny the Street created all these comic books called Danny Comics, where she's like the main character and she's like a superhero, and she becomes the superhero that he wrote about in the comic books where she came from. So it's all very kind of twisted and thing. But like I said, I really enjoyed it once I sat down and read all of it at once. So. If you were kind of on the fence about Doom Patrol and the trade comes out, I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're into kind of weird, different, something a little off the wall. And you don't mind being challenged just a little bit. Because it's really quirky, really different, but it's really good.
The trade's probably out.
It might be. I mean, 6 just came out this last month or the month before, so the trade may or may not be out. But if they're smart, they'll get it out really fast since I gave this recommendation, because all our listeners are going to be rushing to the store to buy it. Right, off my recommendation.
Yeah.
I think so.
You did it justice. Man.
Right. All right. I think I'm pretty much done.
You're done.
But most of the stuff Scott's talking about, I've read, so we got that going for us.
That's good for you.
What are you talking about next?
Me?
Well, Scott's got 2. How many do you have?
I don't know.
It looks like he's got like a ton.
I could do like 4 maybe.
All
so
right, well, let's
what do you got next?
One more.
Okay, I want to do this because...
Oh, I saw that book. Is that cool? Did you pick that up at a con?
No, I ordered it.
What publisher puts that up?
Action Lab.
Action
maybe?
Lab, it looks
Okay,
like.
I saw some on Facebook, like the people who...
I think it was like Kickstarted.
Okay.
And then I think it was published through Action Lab. I can't remember who wrote it or who drew it.
Yeah.
Who wrote it, who read it or drawed it. But they did want to let me know because it was on like the first page. And then like, you know how you open the book and then like, let's give them their props. But,
Yeah.
Well, it's on the front.
I've
too.
seen that too. The author, artist,
Yeah.
artist.
Written by David Pepose and art by, is that
Jorge Santiago Jr.
Jr. So we get that,
Yeah.
and then you get like 3 pages in, and then they tell me again who it's written by
Oh, that's cool.
and art by.
Nice.
And okay, so basically it's Calvin and Hobbes all grown up.
Okay.
So it is Calvin and Hobbes all grown up.
That's the premise.
That's the premise.
Yeah, but is Calvin the boy and Hobbes is the tiger?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, but it's a panther instead of a tiger.
Gotcha.
And he's all grown up and he's a detective now.
And he has an imaginary
His
Panther
panther
friend.
is his partner.
Does he carry around like a life-size?
Yes, he does, because there's a scene where they're in the. It's not life-size though. It's about.
Oh, it's tiny.
It's tiny because there's a scene where he's in the diner and they're going over the evidence.
Yeah.
And the waitress comes up and she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And they look over and there's a stuffed animal in the bench or whatever with him.
Gotcha.
And so I mean, it's like.
So if Calvin became a detective.
Yes.
Basically. Okay.
And then it also flashes back and it goes into like the Calvin, like the crayon, like kid drawing, like Calvin and Hobbes, like when he goes back to his childhood and remembers. And if you pay attention, like during the, like when he's imagining him as his partner, he has a button eye. Like the Panther detective has a button eye.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think like if you like Calvin and Hobbes and you like an adult like Calvin grown up, like the same thing, it's pretty cool.
Did he get any more mature? Because he was pretty immature as Calvin.
Yeah, he's fairly mature. Yeah. And there's something about there's like a murder murder or something. Yeah, it goes back to that. Like this girl, see, and he has the button eye.
Gotcha.
And he's drinking apple juice. He's drinking like coffee and beer and stuff, and the Panther's drinking apple juice. But so he gets like this case. It's I think this girl gets murdered, and it turns out that he knew her from his childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he actually goes back to like his principal or teacher or whatever to like talk to her, and she's like old now, but she's still like at the school. But the thing that kind of irritated me is at the back of it, let me see it for a second. Sorry. It says like, it has like, it talks about
the way the box
recommendations.
Works, you have to talk about the book without flipping through it. Yeah, I got you.
But I can't do that.
But you have
it's impossible for me to do that. I can't remember.
It's the new thing, Don. Everyone's doing it.
Where it says something about
you have to get a double wide
and
box.
part of the reason is because you don't like ramble on about trying to look something up in your book during our live broadcast.
Right.
That's the other part.
It says something
so it's
about
kind of a win-win for me.
It says something to the fact that this is a brand new book.
Oh, I have an idea. Read the whole thing to us
and it's
catch it.
Hey, nice ear. He okay.
Hey, nice ear. Yeah.
Damn it.
Dead space and it's live. I can't edit this out.
It's live and it's dead space. Oh, there we go. The most groundbreaking series of the decade arrives.
All right.
How is it groundbreaking?
Hyperbole.
All he's doing
in full swing these days.
All he's doing is rehashing some dude.
That's the way things go though nowadays.
I would have never
nostalgia.
It's not groundbreaking.
I would have never thought to make Calvin Hobbes an adult detective team.
No.
I gotta tell you. So that's pretty inventive.
It's technically not Calvin and Hobbes because I'm pretty sure he could get his ass sued.
Yeah, I understand. It's a riff. It's a parody. It's whatever.
It's a parody. But anyway, I've already dropped it.
Oh,
before I even get the first issue, I already dropped it.
Now, okay, explain this to me.
So you got the first issue.
Is it a limited series?
I think it's ongoing.
Okay,
but I'm not sure.
So why would you order the first issue and before you read it, drop the book? That doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna be in, at least read the issue before you.
You remember when we used to do the podcast?
Yeah.
And we would talk about how like we had to order like 5 issues before we even read the book.
Yeah, it's 3, but yeah, I understand.
Okay. I figure as prevalent as stuff is now, if I buy the first one and then I read the solicitation for like the second or the third and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it anymore. I can pick it up somewhere if I want to, or I can read a trade, or I can do whatever. So
here's a question that's kind of off tangent, but kind of goes along with what you're saying. So every once in a while I find myself buying a book, and it's like, I like it, but it's maybe not totally doing it for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the book is like on the chopping block. Like it's going to get canceled at any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long do you like stay in thinking that, this book can't last much longer, I'll just keep buying it because it's going to get canceled anyway? Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah.
And then there's some books that you're like, how can this book still be going? I'm still buying it, but how is it not canceled yet? Right?
Yes.
Does that happen to you too? It's not just me. Because I don't want to drop it because I'm like, I'm digging it, but at the same time, if it got canceled, I wouldn't be totally crushed or anything. It's not like it'd be canceled, like, oh no, it's canceled, it'd be canceled. I'd be like, oh, that's okay. I'm okay. I got a good run. I think it ran its course.
I used to do that though to like keep my collection.
And that's part of it too. Is like I don't want to abandon the book if it's just going to be like 2 more issues, right?
Yeah.
You might as well finish it out. But then you're like, how often do you just?
You know what? I have a
Stick
very,
with it.
very recent example of that.
I would love to hear it.
The Woods. The Woods. You
Okay.
remember that book, The Woods?
Yeah.
Okay, so like
Did it get canceled?
no, it's ending.
Oh,
Like
finally.
it's coming. Well, I don't know if they canceled it, but they're saying 35 or whatever is the final issue. You know,
Yeah.
like the end of the book. And so I dropped that sucker at like 32,
Oh, and 35 is the end.
and 35 is the end.
See, you should have stuck it out. Wouldn't you rather
Well,
have that last 3 issues?
no.
And finish the story.
I don't think so.
You were that
Oh,
you were
God.
that far out.
I don't-
See, these are books that I'm not that far out of. Like I like him still, but at the same time, I feel like they've kind of the best days are behind him. But
I
I'm still enjoying
really-
it to keep buying it. But at the same time, I'm like the best days are behind him. Maybe it's time to just kind of cut the losses.
I did that with what's the Ultimate X-Men?
Yeah,
Like that book was terrible after like 70 issues,
yeah.
but I kept buying it because I just knew it was going to end. And then finally I realized it wasn't going to end, and so I dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it ended. I dropped it at like 95, and then it ended like at 100 or
Yeah,
something. Yeah. But at that point I didn't even care.
yeah. No, at
It was, like,
some
so
point
bad.
it's so bad.
But,
you
like-
don't care. But these are books that I'm enjoying. It's just they're not quite. They're. I keep saying the same thing, but the best days are behind them. It feels like. And it's just like.
Well, The Woods started out really good. Like I really liked it. It was cool. It was a new idea. It was really neat and well done. And then somewhere around when I got like 3 long boxes of comics to catch up on, I
Yeah.
read like 12 issues of The Woods like all at once, and I had no idea what was going on in the story. Like it blew off into all kinds of different areas, and I couldn't keep track of it, and I didn't even care anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
Cool.
so yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I enjoyed
It
it.
sounds like you already dropped it.
But I already dropped.
But
And
you
the
already
thing
dropped.
with me is too. I mean, I'm really
You have
trying.
lots of other stuff to read.
Well, that, and I'm always trying to cut down. Like
I pay
always
attention
trying
by
to cut
every
down.
number. when
That's
it
why I
comes
want this
out.
series to end so I can cut down. It's like, won't this series get canceled so I can drop it?
But then
I
they
don't
just
want to
come
drop
up-
it, but
Then they just come up with something new that I buy anyway. So.
I'm getting better at resisting new stuff.
Yeah.
There hasn't been too much lately. Like the book that I almost jumped on but I didn't was that Rose. Did you buy that?
Nope.
I thought that book looked really cool. I really liked the art. I was like, I'm not gonna do it.
I used to buy every Image book. Like I wouldn't even read the description. Like
Really?
number
They're
one,
putting out
a
all
new
sorts of-
series.
Image is still killing it, let me say, but they are putting out a lot of new product.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of it is
Is all,
all
good.
killer. No
Not
filler.
all of it is stuff I'm interested in.
Correct. All of it's good. It's just it's not all to my taste or
Yeah.
my interest. Type of
So I've really been not buying a lot of
the new
new
stuff.
Image stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it looks. I think it's good that they're diversifying their line by doing different stuff, but not all that stuff appeals to me. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm glad that there's books out there for people who enjoy that, but I'm not necessarily the person who does.
Yeah.
Cool. You do Secret Empire. You kind of hedge it out.
Well, I had. Yeah, I don't remember what happened. I just remember
Oh,
reading
good.
Secret Empire. This is number 0.
we talked about it for a few minutes.
But apparently Captain America is like in Hydra now.
Yeah.
Like they revealed it like in the first issue of Nick Spencer's run on the reboot of the like 15th reboot of Captain America,
Yeah.
which I bowed out of because I was like I don't want to do that anymore. Like I'm done with like Captain America remakes. Dude, I've been away from Captain America for a long time because there's a lot of stuff going on in that thing. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm really pumped for Secret Empire. It's like a 9 issue series, I think. I don't know. And now the podcast dies. What's going on? What's up? What are you looking at? What you doing, Scott?
Nothing.
Oh.
I was making sure that the photo was.
My battery is low.
Oh, there's Captain America. But anyway, what I was saying is I've been like way out of the loop on It Ain't Gonna Reach. I've been way out of the loop on Captain America. It's like-
Way out of the loop.
yeah, it's like I have no idea what's going on. Like everything's changed, and now he's a hybrid. So
Interesting.
anyway, whatever.
Our light's not as good there.
Nope,
Oh,
well.
It doesn't take much at all.
it's not.
Table blocking.
I don't think so.
I don't know, but you just made a really. You were yelling at me about noises, and you just made it creak.
Yeah, well, that was necessary, creek, whereas yours is not.
Yeah, mine's not.
All
All
right,
right,
shuffling books
I'm
around
done.
for fun. You're like using the comics as like a scratch tape.
So
it's obvious
turntable.
that
It's like a number 0 though.
Yeah.
That's weird. So is that
Well, you
one
have
of
to
those
do a number.
cases where
You
you
can do a number 0 so that you can make like a 9-issue series, like 10 issues.
I
so you can,
guess.
like eke out another one.
But then they always put
And
the
then you-
zeros out though, usually after the freaking 9 issues or whatever too.
Well, sometimes they do. They started doing it before now,
Mm.
and they're like triple shipping it too.
It still never makes any sense to me.
Of course.
It's like 3 issues in a month. They're like $4.99 each.
And
Yeah.
you're deciding who buys it.
I know. What do you want to talk about?
He's gotta
You
talk about-
actually like know like what you want to talk about.
Like,
do.
unlike you.
Unlike me,
Oh,
I'm
I
good.
just moved your stuff. I
Oh.
don't know. Did you want me to put the Providence in?
No, I'm
Talk
good,
about that?
man.
You sure?
Scott should do I Hate Fairyland.
Do I hate Fairyland? Because I can talk about that.
You can talk about that?
We've
Have
all
you
read
read that?
Yeah, we've all
Oh
read
yeah,
it. So it would be a nice, good
that
run.
stuff is awesome.
Can I sneak under
I might-
here to?
I might talk about Providence here in a minute.
Cool. How's the picture done?
Takes a few seconds. But
I do know that.
It's good. It's got a shadow, but it's fine.
what if we can rotate
It's like a
it?
half a shadow.
So what's
It's
black
like
and
a
white? Is it the
slant.
table?
I don't
It
know.
must be the table. Alright, we're gonna
I
move the
think
table.
it's a table.
Can
It's
we
gotta
lift?
be.
Alright.
And it's not.
No, it's not.
It didn't make a difference at all for the table.
I don't know what it is. It's fine. I like it.
Oh, I know what it is.
The cord.
Perfect. It's the box.
Yes.
I hope they can still hear us way across the room like that.
Hopefully so.
Oh.
All right. So I hate Fairyland.
I love I
Quick
Hate
story
Fairyland.
though.
Yeah.
So, our dad, mine and Don's dad, was over tonight. I was talking to him. I said, "Yeah, we're doing the podcast tonight." He's like, "Oh yeah, what you gonna talk about?" You know, which is weird because like when somebody who doesn't read comic books asks what you're talking about on the comic book podcast, I don't know if they're expecting you to say like Superman or like Batman or something. I'm like, "Oh, I know those characters," you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, "I think we're gonna talk about I Hate Fairyland." He's like, "What's that?" And I kind of gave him like the quick elevator pitch. He's like, "That sounds kind of funny." You know,
Yeah.
like my dad who doesn't would
Right.
never read something like I Hate Fairyland was like, "That's an interesting concept." So we'll see how Scott describes the concept.
Oh, well, I hate Fairyland. It's about a little girl who is, you know, playing
So you didn't
imaginary.
like it?
Oh, I liked it.
You hate Fairyland? You just
That's
said,
right. I do hate Fairyland. So, but little girl who's, you know, playing make believe, whatever the heck else, and gets dumped into Fairyland. You know, kind of like Alice in Wonderland, whatever the heck else type thing you want to say. But she gets dumped there, and of course there's like a quest that she needs to go on and everything else to go find the magical key so that she can return home, and it's all supposed to be a fun and games time. Well, then they flash, and she's been there for like 30 years, and she still hasn't found the key.
And she's still a little girl.
And she's still a little girl.
A 30-year-old little girl.
That is right, and very rambunctious, I guess you could say. So,
That's one way to put it.
yes. So essentially, she goes around like killing almost everything in sight because she just can't figure out where the hell this key is. And
And
most
she
of the
really
time,
hates Fairyland.
oh, she really hates this place.
And
yeah.
she drinks
but
a lot,
after 30
too.
years, I can believe that. And she does like the alcohol, and she's got a little sidekick that's kind of like a Jiminy Cricket or something like that, I guess, that is supposed to try to help her through the different areas of Fairyland, and I think he's just about giving up on life and everything else too to boot.
He's pretty
Being-
depressed.
Yes, he is being
Her
stuck with her.
sidekick
Yes,
for 30 years.
yes, yeah, I can totally believe that.
Because although she's 30 years old, she hasn't really matured. She still doesn't listen very well.
Oh, she doesn't listen, and I don't think that. Definitely her. What would you say? Ingenuity or just problem solving or something? I don't know. It's just not quite there.
Problem-solving skills.
Yes. So pretty much it's beat things up and ask questions later with her. So and the first arc is what? Is it 5 issues? I think or something like that.
5-issue arcs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked the first 5 issues. I thought
Yeah,
it was good. You
correct.
could definitely tell that he had an idea in mind for a nice limited series. Scotty Young is the writer and artist
Correct.
on this. So, and you could tell he definitely had had a nice short story to give on where he was going with this and things. But at the end of the 5 issues, spoiler alert, she doesn't get out of Fairyland, and something happens in which she's basically got to stay there for longer than 2. But then after that, it becomes like a bunch of like little one-hit type of, what do you want to call them? One
shots or
Yes.
one tons.
Yeah, and then I think that goes on for about 10, maybe 6 to 10, and then I think he started to try to get back into another arc of things again.
So I remember, I don't remember the arcs very well, but wasn't there a point where another girl got trapped in fairyland and had to look for the key, and she like finds it in like, a
she's
half
flying
hour
through, definitely in like a day or something. But some other girl gets there and she's all full of spirit and rainbows and everything, and in fact she beats the crap out of our hero here, or whatever you want to call her, Gertrude.
Yes, is the protagonist.
Yes, and that's pretty funny. But then the freaking Ice Queen, or like whatever queen she is, is there of the fairyland, is the one who brought, the little girl, brought all these little girls in there, and stuff. And there's certain rules they got to follow and things like that. So,
is she the one that she befriends?
I think she tries to befriend her at first, maybe. Or maybe she does after.
And then she tries to like change her ways and do good.
Oh, does she turn the girl into
Doesn't she like
bad habits like her?
No. The little girl, I think the one that comes in there, I think she ends up taking her out.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because she's about to open the door and everything else, and I think she shows up with all the evil demon powers from God knows where, or whatever the heck it was. What was that thing's name? God, I cannot remember, but that one cracked me up too, because she, in order to defeat this little girl with rainbows, she ends up going to like the dark dungeons of Demon World or something like this, and makes a deal with the devil, basically, whatever his name was. And he's like, well, sure, as long as you can defeat my most powerful foes, or my most powerful guys. And she just takes him out, and he's like, you're like the daughter I never had. And then he grants her all this evil power, and so that's how she can go up there and defeat all giggles and rainbows. So
yeah, the art is cool.
The art is great for this type of idea. It's just fantastic. I mean, it's a lot of violence. I mean, I'll let you warn you now. I mean,
there's bloody.
There is blood all over the place.
It's not for kids.
Yes, definitely.
I think like a 12-year-old would like it.
Yeah,
13.
Maybe.
Because there's not really any harsh language.
I should have had my son read it.
It's kind of bloody though.
Oh, it
bloody,
is.
But it's very cartoony.
It is very cartoony. It's almost like Itchy and Scratchy from Simpsons type of thing, where they just beating things
your
up.
mileage may vary, but like a 12 to 15-year-old is
we have
kind of that.
We talked. Did you give him everything or just?
I got all the 12.
We talked about 12 last.
Yeah.
Oh,
did you read 12?
I did.
No, it's the samurai.
Oh, is that the one? Yes.
That was awesome.
Yes.
And the 11 is the convention, right?
Yes, that's what that one was. I couldn't remember based off the front cover there what 11 was, but yeah, that's the convention, and he ends up befriending I'm your biggest fan, who ends up almost being better than she is at whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
So that
Oh yeah, that was the one. Okay.
Yeah. And so this one's the one with the samurais and the mushroom people, and she just freaking takes them out. Of course, I kind of like the one too. It reminds me of the what was it? In that initial arc, she does something too, where she takes out like a ton of zombies and things of that nature. Because I think the evil queen's sister is a witch, of course, or I say the evil queen, but the queen's sister is a witch, so she hires her to go take out Gertrude, and so she goes to this little town, turns them, it's like Narnia, the little fawns, and she makes them into zombies or whatever, and so then this whole thing is zombies, and Gertrude just takes them all out, I mean, there's tons.
Although she's not good at problem solving, she's pretty good with that.
Oh, she is wonderful with that, and the witch is like, yeah, I kind of like her. You got to admit that she's pretty efficient with an axe or something like that. And all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, the art's just fantastic on that thing.
I like how I read all.
And I like how it's you can tell that some of the influences. I mean, even this one's kind of looks like one
Samurai
of those.
Jack or something.
Yeah, something like it reminded me of the wasn't there like a samurai bunny or something weird?
You saw your Jimbo?
That might be.
Yeah,
yes.
I see a little bit of that. Thing.
Yeah, there and things. But yeah, it's fun. It's a nice, fast read too.
Yeah, it's very light.
And I even like the back of the the letters page or whatever the heck else sometimes. And usually he'll always give well, that one's kind of bad, the issue 12, because of the fact that he's talking about his I Hate Image one shot. But a lot of these, one is coming soon. He'll always have like a little description as well. That's pretty funny. And the back of them always have some nice little art and things too. shot test stuff.
Good. Why'd you like it?
Oh yeah, I thought I would though after I read the I Hate Image
Hey,
one shot as well.
Chi joined,
Nice.
commented. He
Hi,
said,
Chi.
Hi, Chi. He said yes, and then he said podcast now with pictures.
Right.
As long as we know what we're doing.
All right, is that, what else? You have
He's
any-
got Street Angel. And then
That is all I got left.
Well, I'll do X-Men Gold, because I read X-Men Gold. This is the issue that everybody had a cow over.
Is it a collector's item now? Can you sell it for $100?
I don't know, I hope
Maybe.
so. Pretty cool.
Everybody had a cow over it.
Yeah, okay, so they rebooted X-Men again. There's 2 books now. There's X-Men Gold and there's X-Men Blue. X-Men Gold.
Just like the 90s all over
Yes.
again.
X-Men Gold was drawn. The first issue and the second issue were drawn by Ardian.
It's not Adrian?
No, it's A-R. I thought it was Adrian too, but it's Ardian. A-R-D-I-A-N. Ardian Syaf.
Yeah.
And apparently he put some stuff in the book that he shouldn't have put in there, as far as like, I don't know. And you know what? I don't know.
As far as like what you like let this hang.
Okay. So like there's a
Alright, so
scene.
he's in the Philippines, and there's a big culture clash in the Philippines between like the Islamic people and like the Christian people, and their president I think is Christian or something, and they want to get rid of him or something. And so anyway, there's like this movement within the Islamic culture in the Philippines. I think it's the Philippines, right?
So you
I
got
think so.
And there's like
political and religious issues.
yeah, and so there's like they're called like
Numbers.
There's like a number that represents him, and he hid the numbers of that represents this Islamic faction that wants to get rid of the Christian president. He hid it like throughout the issue, and so someone picked up on it and said,
Yeah.
"Well, that's not cool."
Yeah, like
So-
212 or something.
And there's a
or
big
54
internet
or something. It was a huge
explosion.
explosion.
He basically
But
got
there-
fired off the book.
Yeah. But there's a scene where Kitty Pryde is there, and there's like a building, so it's like a double page spread, and it's supposed to be like a jewelry store, but everything's blocked out except J-E-W,
And
and
Pryde
Kitty
is
Pryde
Jewish.
is Jewish.
No.
So-
And I guess the Islam doesn't really like the Jews. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a whole like culture, like it blew up, and basically the guy got canned off of the book.
Did they pull issues or anything?
No.
No, because he did draw number 2, but I don't know how much of the art they may have just wiped out his background. There's not a lot of backgrounds in it, and a lot of colors, but I don't know. But anyway, this is the reboot of the X-Men. It's written by Mark Guggenheim. It's supposed to come out twice a month anyway. So they were gonna have like a whole rotating art team. Because Mark Guggenheim mentions that in the back, and I mean this was before anything happened or anything, but there's like I don't remember, but this is your team, man. This is
That's the team I wanted. But it's Old Man Logan.
well, yeah. So
Something
it's still Wolverine. It's
pretty close.
Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Old Man Logan, and Rachel.
Yeah, that's pretty close to my team.
Yeah.
I like it. I could use Rogue in there.
Yeah, Rogue would be cool, but I think she's in like Uncanny Avengers now or something.
I do.
But anyway, I mean, at the back of it, Mark Guggenheim writes this letter about how, like, you know, the mutants have been drugged through all these events, and it's all confusing, and this is basically back to the basics.
So it's more of a superhero book with the X-Men.
Yes.
Is it actually that?
It's good, I like it. I mean, yeah, it starts out and they're fighting Terrax, I think, and I'm like, why the hell are the X-Men taking down Terrax? It makes no sense, whatever. And then, of course, they have the baseball game. You know,
for the baseball
they
game.
get a baseball game, and then it ends up with and of course, like, everybody hates mutants now. Like there's a thing where they save them, like, from Terrax or something, and, like, the whole crowd's there, and Kitty Pryde's standing there, and the mom's talking to the daughter, and she's like, get away from it. And Kitty Pryde's like, what do you mean it? I'm a person, I just saved, you know what I mean? So they're really hitting it hard. And then the first issue ends with a cliffhanger, and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants are back, and it's got like Avalanche and like Pyro, and I'm like, aren't these guys dead? Like Avalanche, Pyro, Mask.
Can you really keep track of them?
Yeah, I can keep track.
It is comics. Does
And then
he really die?
At the end of the back of the first issue, there's like a 5 or 6 page of the history of the X-Men from like number 1 all the way to like now.
Sounds brutal.
I read
down
through
to
it,
6
dude.
pages?
It was, yeah. Well, they skipped a lot of stuff.
I'm sure they did.
It was kind of cool for like a little refresher.
So Prestige, Rachel Gray, is that like
Yeah, her.
Jane Grey's
daughter from the future
from the future? So
that
who's
came
the
back to the past.
so who's the father?
Scott
Is it
Summers.
Scott Summers? Okay,
Yeah.
I just wondered.
No.
You
Yeah.
know with Jane Grey,
Right,
you
but
know?
she has her name. Her code name is Prestige.
I see that now.
Why did they give her a code name of Prestige? That's the worst code name ever.
I don't know.
So what's her
Prestige?
powers? Is she
She's a phoenix.
Uh,
Last time I checked. She's a telepath,
She's
telekinetic.
telekinetic, yeah.
that shoots rays from her eyes?
No,
like
she doesn't. She got James powers, not
Okay.
Scott's.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, I like it. I'll stick with it. I
Are you
haven't.
doing X-Men Blue too?
I bought them, but I haven't read them yet.
Mm.
And I think Blue is more the all new X-Men. I'm not even sure
yeah,
who's
it's
on the
supposed to be
team.
like the classic roster.
I'm not sure who's on the team.
Gotcha.
I'll probably buy it, but
Yeah, X-Men Gold is my team. Mark Guggenheim's a fine writer, but I think I'd rather had Cullen Bunn write the X-Men Gold and Mark Guggenheim write the X-Men.
because I think Colin Bunn and is it Molina?
Yeah.
I think is the first artist.
Well, since it's coming out every 2 months,
Yeah,
obviously
they're gonna
be
rotate.
rotating, So I don't.
But I really was getting tired of the all new X-Men towards the end.
Yeah,
really-
I enjoyed it in the beginning, but I stopped reading it, and I don't know that. Really
I'm really kind of glad that they rebooted it again, I guess. But I mean,
if they can get it back to kind of basics and have a little bit of
They have their-
that would be good.
they have their 2 core X-Men books, and then of course they have all their spin-offs.
Yeah.
I really wish I would have bought that. I think it's Weapon X, the one like David Land. That one looks really good. I didn't buy it. I just bought the 2 core X-Men books.
Cool.
But of course, I mean, I bought Old-Man Logan, but which I think Lemire
Is off there.
is off of it, but he was really kicking ass on that thing.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
the first
really
couple
good.
arcs. It was super
It
good,
was really good.
and I liked Andrea Sorrentino.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Do you want to do Street Angel, Scott? And then
Want
I'll
me to?
end up
I don't know if it'll fit. in that
Probably.
box.
I don't think it will.
It might try it. Saga fits. But no, it's
Yes,
big.
but
This
it's
is
big.
oversized.
This is oversized thing.
You can kind of
Maybe we can angle it one way or another. We'll see which angle works out better. Kind of get the gist there.
Yep.
Okay.
Now you've never read Street Angel before, correct?
I have not.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
It works.
And this was kind of like a one-shot type
You're
of
talking
thing.
about the pictures.
I would assume.
Yeah. I'm talking about the picture, yes.
Yes, it's a one shot.
And it was entertaining. Yeah. Good art and things of that nature. It's a nice, quick read. You know, here again, I mean, hell, probably the fastest, honestly, out of all of them that you gave me there. So, but it's.
I poured over it very slowly because I like the art.
Do you? Do you?
But, yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoy Street Angel.
Although I really don't know too much about the character.
You don't
I mean,
need
from
to know
from a one-shot type of perspective, I assume this is like a middle school girl that just has some great kung fu skills and
Correct.
uh,
Kung fu is
tends to
strong.
live in her own little world, but yet has like one best friend or one friend, it seems like, and everybody else seems to be almost scared to death of her for probably
Yeah.
good reason.
Correct.
And she can beat
She's
the crap out
homeless.
of anything. Homeless, okay.
She's homeless. She's really hungry a lot of the time because she has no food.
Okay,
So
okay,
that's why she gets so excited about lunch.
You
okay.
need to give him Street Angel.
I probably should.
It's awesome.
But this one's kind of funny because there's like a boy in the class that can actually like stand toe to toe with her. It seemed like so.
Yeah, did you like the twist at
So-
the end?
I guess I don't know if I've seen how much of a twist, type thing. I don't know. For what it was, it just seemed like it kind of fit within
It was a
the.
pretty simple
the
story,
realm,
but it was
yeah.
entertaining.
It's
Yes.
a twist.
Yes, but it was amusing. So.
I really enjoyed the fight scene in that one. I thought he did it really well choreographed and with the double pitch spread.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was really fun when
Yeah.
he did it. So I enjoyed it. Cool.
Yeah, you should give him what's the other one too?
Street Angel.
No, Street Angel, and then what's the
Aphrodisiac.
yeah
I
Aphrodisiac.
don't have that in hardcover.
Oh, you don't?
I read
More-
it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was gonna say more single issue stuff.
It's a book. They're both actually books.
It's a book. All right.
But it's fun, you know. I mean, for what it is, like I said, after school kung fu special. You know,
There's
one shot.
he's gonna put those out I think about every 3 months.
Yeah,
So there's another one that just got solicited that should be coming out in a couple months. The Street Angel Gang, which is pretty good as well. She joins a gang.
Really.
Well, she She goes to the gang meeting to join the gang. So I would say she joins.
But
She's more of a little.
then craziness ensues.
Yeah, she's more of a little.
All right, this will go quick because I really don't know what I'm talking about. but
Awesome.
Oh,
I will.
wow.
I will attempt to.
But you kept the other couple issues so you could
Yes,
read
I will-
them and
I
talk
will
about them panel
attempt.
by panel.
My goal is every podcast I'm going to do 3 issues.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Well, okay.
Just do it.
This is what I'm dealing with. in the
Holy
back.
crap. Is this Alan Moore?
Yeah.
Okay, well that
This is-
explains that.
This is what I'm dealing with in the back.
So just so everybody knows, there's like about a half dozen to a dozen pages of weird
of
script.
prose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prose.
Okay,
there,
so
just a bunch of Alan Moore's writing.
all right, so this is interesting. So Providence.
And that's every issue's that way?
Oh
yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah. It takes me probably an hour to read an issue.
I
or
can
more.
believe that.
Okay, so I talked about the first 3 issues.
It's
of,
like tiny little handwriting.
it's his journal.
God.
It's the main character's journal.
Oh my God.
Which the great part about the journal is it just summarizes what you just read.
Oh, that's good.
So like you read the story and then go back and then you read his journal entries about what you just read
I got you.
in more detail. And some of it's not is worth reading because you do pick up other little things and nuances and stuff.
Sure.
But I'm really digging like the main story. Like it's so freaking weird. It's like weird and creepy and just like I don't know. It's really good. I think I want to just finish the book and just read the comic part of it
Yeah.
and then go back and
And read
read
the journal.
all the prose, journal, whatever.
Yeah.
But so the basic of the story is there's this guy. He's a reporter. He works for a newspaper, and he I can't remember exactly how it. He stumbles upon like this story, and he's always wanted to write a novel, and so he's kind of doing research on this story, and then he's also telling himself that he's going to write this novel at the same time, and it's very what is it, Lovecraftian?
Lovecraftian.
Very Cthulhu-ish, Lovecraftian. There is some really weird, freaky crap that's going on in this book. So like, he basically wants to write this book, and it's about like the secret society of the United States. It's set in the 1920s. So we're back in like the 1920s. And there's a book called The King in Yellow, which is an actual book that was published like in the 1890s, and it's almost like we talked about this last time, but it's almost like the movie. I can't remember what I compared it to. Basically, you read this book and you go insane. Like the book is so like terrible that if you read the book, it like makes you go crazy.
It's like The Ring. Watching the video.
Right, it's like The Ring kind of,
So
but
you die.
from the 1890s. It's like the 1890s
They didn't
version
have
of The Ring.
videos back then.
But so anyway, he's just delving into this, and he's going from like town to town, and he goes like in issue 5, I think he goes into this town, and there's like this guy that like gives him a taxi that gives him a ride. And he goes into the town, and he's like talking to people, and then he goes and finds this place to stay, and it's like a boarding house or whatever, and this lady's like, this old lady lives there. Well, he goes to bed or whatever, and he wakes up. And the old lady is just like hanging out, like buck ass naked, and she's like feeding the taxi driver, but like a baby, like half baby, half cat. It's like weird, and so like he wakes up and sees her, and then falls back like it's a dream.
The taxi driver is a half baby, half cat.
Yeah, he's like a cat.
How does a
person.
cat drive a taxi?
Well, he's like a person,
Yeah.
but then like I went back and read it, and so like when he's in the taxi, like this tail comes up like behind him and is kind of hitting him on the neck, and so he doesn't think he's like whatever, and so then like when he wakes up, it's like the taxi driver's face, but like on a little baby body with like a cat tail or whatever.
Okay, so it's a taxi driver, cat, baby hybrid.
Yeah, it's like weird, and so like you
Okay, I
can
can
see
the
it.
picture.
And I mean, she's hanging out. Like, she's all hanging out. And
Yeah.
he's,
Well, you have to breastfeed them.
well, yeah, but
You have
don't
to breastfeed
you don't
those-
have to have
Those
your,
taxi driver
you don't
cats.
have to have your legs spread with
Okay,
nothing
okay.
on underneath. so like he wakes up and this lady that just rented him this room is sitting there breastfeeding a grown adult baby cat. And so like he freaks
That drives
out.
taxis.
Just another day in the life.
And
of
so he
Providence.
freaks out, obviously, and then wakes up again like it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
But then he wakes up again, like he wakes up like 3 times, like it's 3
He and I
different
wake up 3 different times.
dreams. So anyway, needless to say, he gets the, pardon my French, he gets the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And so he had met this other professor
He said this would be fast.
at college. Well, it should have been. He meets this other professor at the college, and the guy tells him, if you ever need anywhere to stay, so he goes over there. And then, dude, it's just. I
It
don't know.
does seem
It's-
rather odd.
Yeah, it's weird. What is that? The number 6?
Yes, this is number
Don't
6.
get distracted. Just
I'm
focus
trying to
on it.
remember what happened.
Well,
in
you don't
number
have
6.
to. Just, I think we've got enough.
Okay. Yeah, it's very creepy. It's very whatever. I'm done. It's creepy, eerie, kind of oogie feeling.
I could tell.
It's
with
like
the, with
horror.
the cat baby
The
taxi
cat
driver.
baby-
That
the
sounds
cat baby
pretty
taxi
eerie,
driver.
eerie.
And it seems to be like, oh, that's when he goes to the library and he finds the copy of the book, and he's reading the book, and then it goes weird because like the part of this cult or whatever, like they can switch bodies, like that's how they stay young, like they switch their.
Next time I want you to
Soul.
write your review down.
I'm going
nice,
to.
Organized.
I'm going to.
Because you're kind of just jumping all around,
Right.
rambling.
Well, they can transfer their body. And so, like, when he's at this college, because he goes to this college to get this book, to read this book. And he's lost time. He's lost, like, 3
I'm
weeks
curious
of
if our
time.
listeners can make any sense of what you're saying.
I can't really make sense of it.
Okay.
So he loses time. And then he befriends this girl. She's like a 12 or 13-year-old girl, but she's in college because she's supposed to be, like, super smart. So that gets really weird because he goes back to her house.
Stop looking at the book. Scott, you're distracted.
He goes back to her house, and
This
the
is weird.
father like transfers into him, and he ends up having sex with the girl
Yes.
as he's the other guy, and then the other guy is in her body, and it's
it just
like
sounds
jumping
appealing to
bodies.
you. You should probably just read it.
It's
because-
like jumping bodies and losing time, and it's just freaky weird.
Yes.
But I have
there's
started reading. No. I have started reading The King in Yellow, the book from the 1890s. like
Are you
the
gonna go
prose book.
insane? 'Cause
I
it
don't
sounds like
know.
You might have already done it.
I don't know, dude. I've
So
only read.
this is the first 6 issues that you've read then?
Yeah,
And there's 12.
and there's 12.
And
So
there's
we have-
going to be 12?
so we
Or
have
you,
two
No,
more.
it's already.
It's already out
It's
there,
already
done,
out. Like
and it's
I
done.
saved them all up to read them all at
Yeah, we
once.
have 2 more
Okay.
podcasts of this, unfortunately.
I'm gonna note though. I'm gonna do notes,
That'd be great. Maybe you could do kind of advice.
especially since I used to have trouble before, like 1 week. Now it's 2 weeks.
yes.
Yes.
Really hard to
Take
remember.
notes. That's good. It's a good strategy.
What else you got? Anything?
No, I'm done.
Oh, wow.
We're done. I think.
Thank goodness. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
the province almost broke me.
Providence broke you.
Almost.
It's very weird.
All right,
How
so
about Galaxy of Brutality?
I don't remember that.
Anyway,
I'm not gonna talk about
look
it.
at that art. Isn't that cool?
That's Alexis Ziri.
Alexis Zirich.
He's
What?
he's gonna be
At Air Capital Comic
he's gonna be at Air Capital Comic Con in November.
Oh,
Alexis
cool.
Ziri.
See, there you go.
It's on the website.
Okay.
So it's not a surprise.
I think. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Well, I think we're out.
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
All right.
Anything else to add, Scott?
No, I do not.
All right.
Go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
seen
it's
it.
good.
It's
I
good.
need to.
Well, you haven't seen it?
No.
Wow. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back in 2 weeks, hopefully, to give you more comic book goodness. Other than Providence, which will be comic book hell.
I'll have notes.
You know,
Have
Don
some
claims
notes.
he'll have notes. So
Oh,
that
this'll
might
be
be
cool.
better.
It'll just
So-
make a lot of noise.
Anyway, signing off. We'll see
Thanks
you
for
all in a couple
listening.
weeks. Thanks
Thanks.
for listening. Bye.
Bye.